about himself, and he doesn't know what he's allowed to tell other people about the hospital. The driver goes on. You know there's another name for that place? Jan looks up. No? What's that? The driver gives a little smile. I'm sure they'll tell you when you get there. Jan gazes out of the window at the rows of houses, thinking about the man he is soon to meet. Dr. Patrick Hogsmed, senior consultant. His name was at the bottom of a job advert Jan found at the beginning of July. Classroom assistant / preschool teacher, wanted at the Dell. This is a temporary post. The wording below the heading was similar to many others that Jan had read. You are a classroom assistant / preschool teacher. We would be pleased to welcome a young man since we are committed to the creation of a team which meets the criteria of equality and diversity. As a person, you are confident in yourself, and you are both open and honest. You enjoy music and play and all kinds of creative activity. Our preschool adjoins a green area, so you will also appreciate the value of excursions into the surrounding forest and countryside. You will actively strive for a positive atmosphere at the preschool and against all forms of abusive treatment. Much of this applied to Jan. He was a young man, a qualified preschool teacher. He enjoyed play and had been something of a drummer in his teenage years, although mostly on his own. And he didn't like abusive behavior, for personal reasons. But was he open and honest? That depended. He was good at appearing open, at any rate. It was the contact details that made Jan cut out the advert. Patrick Hogsmed, Admin Department, St Patricias Regional Psychiatric Hospital, Valor. Jan had always found it difficult to sell himself, but the advert had stared at him from its place on the kitchen table for several days, and in the end, he had called the number below the senior consultant's name. A deep male voice had answered. Hogsmed? Dr. Hogsmed? Yes? My name is Jan Hauger, and I'm interested in the position you're advertising. What position? At the preschool, starting in September. There was a brief silence before Hogsmed responded. Oh, yes, that position. He spoke quietly and seemed distracted, but he continued with a question for Jan. May I ask why you are interested in this post? Well, Jan couldn't tell the truth. He had immediately started to lie, or at least to conceal things about himself. I'm curious, was all he said. Curious, said Hogsmed. Yes. Curious about the working environment and about the town. I've spent most of my time working in preschools and nurseries in cities, so it would be exciting to move to somewhere slightly smaller and to compare the way in which a preschool is run in that kind of place. Good, Hogsmed had replied. Of course, this is a slightly unusual situation since the children's parents are actually patients. He had gone on to explain why St Patricias Hospital had a preschool. We started it a few years ago, as an experiment. The central idea is based on research into the critical aspect of a child's relationship with its parents in terms of the child's development into a socially mature individual. Both long-term and temporary foster homes always fall short in some respects, and here at St Patricias we believe it is extremely important for the child to have both regular and stable contact with the biological mother or father, in spite of the special circumstances. And, of course, for the parent, this contact with the child forms part of their treatment. The doctor paused, then added, That is what we do here. We do not punish them, whatever they might have done. Jan had listened, and noticed that the doctor hadn't used the word cure. Hogsmed had concluded with a further question. How does that sound? Jan thought it sounded interesting, and had submitted an application along with his CV. At the beginning of August, Hogsmed had called him. Jan had been shortlisted for the post, and the doctor wanted to meet him. They had agreed on a time, and then Hogsmed had added, I have a couple of requests, Jan. Yes? You will need to bring some form of photo ID, your driving license or passport, just so that we can be sure of who you are. Of course, that's fine. And one last thing, Jan.